Hey there.
I
It's
should.
Tuesday. Wait, should we wait? Should we wait?
It's showing that nobody is seeing us yet. So I guess
We
I'll
should
have a
wait.
drink.
Cheers. Shh, cheers to
If you're
what?
watching this on replay, we're waiting for the videos to
The
run. Which it's funny. I'm
advertisement.
gonna add. I noticed this on Sunday Night Dead because I do a lot of dark subjects on Sunday Night Dead, and so they'll say inappropriate for some advertisers. So I'll get flagged, which I'll still do it because I still like doing the dark subjects. But it's funny. I get no say over what advertisements get run
I
on
don't
my
either.
show. So advertisers can choose not to be on mine because it's gory, but I can't rule out having the guy that pops on to talk about toxic poop for like 2 minutes, like
Yeah, or
leading
tampons.
off my show. So
Yeah. You know, just kind of one of those things. You
yep.
can't, I mean, I think back in the day, like early Squarespace, you were able to kind of pick, but we can't now.
I actually kind of like the toxic poop guy,
Anyway,
but I just wish that he
it's
had
a
a different.
pro.
And I think he changed his advertisements now, but there was like he started the very first thing. He's like, people don't know that they're all carrying around 6 pounds of toxic. I'm like, I don't.
Did you know?
Yeah, I don't really need to know that. I
I
appreciate what
always
you're doing, but I really don't need to know that.
I do know that, and I kind of when I'm standing on the scale, I'm like, well, 3 pounds is clothes, 6 pounds is poop. I'm already doing the math. Anyway, welcome, guys. It's Astrology and Alchemy with Paranormal Sarah and Matt Slozier. You guys, we're here every Tuesday. At least we've been trying to be. It's the apocalypse out there. It's the pandemic. It's vacations. It's surgeries. It's craziness. But we are here with you, and we're here today for another week. How was your week, Matt?
Pretty good. It's funny because I took a bunch of days off to work on the house, and then I worked for one day, which was today, and then I leave for Florida tomorrow. So I'm on vacation eve. So got my bourbon here. I'm in vacation mode, which means I guess we're gonna do next week on a Wednesday, just so folks know, because I'll be driving back from Florida on Tuesday.
You're our regulars tuning in from anywhere all over the world. We have a lot of people from Australia. Hello. Then we're going to be Wednesday next week, which for me, my work time kind of ends at like 5, 6. My work day ends, and then I do like the kids and the dinner and the football and the things, and then everybody kind of winds down at 8:30, and so 9 o'clock really.
Oh, she started
That's
breaking
the
up.
time. No, I didn't.
Which I'm going to add, I'm doing the same thing on Sunday Night Dead. Like I usually do Sunday Night Dead on Sundays, but if I'm not available on Sunday, I'm going to do it on other nights. So you'll probably get Sunday Night Dead on Thursday and then again on Sunday this week. So
I can't use my finger. That's what
yeah,
it is.
you're kind of buffering here, so it's all good though.
Wait, I'll delete everything. Wait, I'll
We got a lot.
minimize.
We got a lot of our good regulars on here. I see Katie and Steph and Samantha and Heather, and I think I saw Dee. Yep, Mary Beth and Pepper, and I apologize if I missed somebody, but because the chat fills up quick. But we're happy to
It
have you all
does.
on, and I'm seeing we're already getting some likes. So yeah, absolutely, like, subscribe. It all helps our little algorithm, the little YouTube algorithm.
It says I'm fine. Am I fine?
You're fine right now.
Gosh, that's so scary. I'm like in a world where I don't know if I'm fine or not. I just won't use my fingers. I can't use my fingers and I can't get too loud. It's telepathy, guys, and it's real. But you guys, we should get right into it because we have a crazy week ahead. Have you felt it? Have you felt the Schumann resonance? People freaked out. They thought, are the satellites down? Is the Schumann resonance down? What's happening? We don't have the big, you know, Earth readout. It's like it went dead. It's like it went dark. It's like somebody unplugged it.
Today was a shit show for my loved ones. It wasn't necessarily a shit show for me. But like I had to experience other people going through pain, which then in turn pissed me off.
A lot of emotional dumping. Anyone else experiencing that? A lot of emotional, just dumping, venting, catharsis, screaming, crying, tantrums. For real. And injuries. Knock on wood there. Injuries at work related injuries. So be careful if you find yourself prone to those. Solar flares.
I'm in a rare mood. I hope this doesn't impact our folks on here because I usually get along with it. Like I'm in one of these moods of just F it. I'll like throw a hand grenade in the room and like walk away and just let it like. So But I usually don't troll like a lot in this format. But I'm just gonna say that I'm just like in this like totally
He'll
like
troll you tonight.
it's because I'm
Man,
getting ready to go on vacation. I'm like in this giant
flip
like
the F out.
just
He's
fuck
got
it.
his.
I apologize. I don't mean any offense to anybody on it, but it is what it is. Sarah, are you stuck? Are you frozen? I think they froze Sarah again. So I'll just keep talking. Heather, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm seeing some of your Mary Beth. I'm sorry to hear that. Looks like we're having a little solar flare issues here. So I will fill in the info with just chatting.
It looks
Now it
like
looks
I'm
like
normal.
Sarah's screaming, but we can't hear her. Oh, now you're back.
I am screaming. I'll be
I think I
gentle.
shared this with you guys before that when we first started doing video calls, what I used to do with my parents, and it's so mean. We'd be talking and it would all be good, but I just started to go like, and they'd be like, Matt, I think you're frozen. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I would just keep doing that just to mess with them.
And
Sorry.
it's usually when I'm using my hands, so I just have to be careful and not get cray-cray with my tone. But let's get into it. Let's get into Wednesday,
Let's
guys.
do it.
Tomorrow, hump day. It's going to be the 7th, 9/7/2020, 2022. And let's put it up there. Only one thing's happening. The moon in Aquarius. Trine, you know what that means. Mercury in Libra. So moon, I think menstrual, I think vibe. Aquarius, I think baby in the bathwater. Mercury, I think our throat. Libra, I think of Anubis weighing shit. But Matt, tell us what it really means.
Yeah, I'm gonna say first of all, like I'm always sad to see summer end. Fall is my favorite time of year, and fall here in North Carolina is really long. But I hate winter with the intensity of a million suns. So I always kind of hate getting a little bit closer to winter, even though fall's my favorite. So moon in Aquarius, it's emotions. Again, I want to be clear. Moon changes every 2 days, so this is not a very powerful. You'll feel it because the moon's emotions, but it changes every 2 days. So this is very transient. And so emotions in Aquarius, this is out of the box, rebellious. This is wanting to change. It's the change agent emotion. And it's having synergy with Mercury, which is thoughts and communication, and Libra, which is very diplomatic. It is not rocking the boat. It is almost this kind of passive aggressive. It's a cardinal sign, so it drives things, but it drives things in a kind of passive aggressive way. So I view this as moving things forward in an out of the box way with diplomacy. So I view this as look for people to try to influence change in different things. So it can be a positive thing, but I would be aware of the actions of others because they're going to try to drive changes in kind of soft power type of ways.
Control. Say something with Libra. I mean, really in the balance. The Mercury, some kind of a communication, some thoughts that you've even been having. Aquarius, I think that's air magic, guys. That's air energy, wanting to be and talk about emotions. And then the moon is, that 48-hour shift of emotion. So emotion on emotion with thoughts weighing out fairness of emotion. A lot of expression. So get the Kleenexes. Well, just don't put them away. You've had them out. Just don't put them away. What's the change going to be? Do you foresee any predictions, or for those of you joining us in the psychic space, sit with that. What's going to happen? What's going to be the emotional? Does the queen die?
This is just world according to Matt, but I'm going to say whenever it's a moon thing, I view more micro more than macro. So I
Right,
see this
small.
more in your interpersonal space than anything like on a grand, profound scale. So I don't see this playing out in a major way.
It's the Aquarius.
This is one of these more view this in your like friendship and work dynamics more than what you're going to see on the news.
The Aquarius vibe, because that has been so often like the COVID, the news, the shift. And we shift again to put your mask on, take your mask off, put your mask on, take your and do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. Like this Aquarius, the rules and regulations. This is, I feel like, a rule bending moment. And I'm hearing Metallica. We were singing this just the other night, but it's playing again. Nothing else matters. And nothing else matters. I mean, when you get your guitar out, you always you know.
Ooh,
Ooh, what is it? Don't say
I'll
the
pull a
tower.
card for this.
What is it? What is it? I've got
I
a deck
see
here,
this
but it's not a tower deck.
three of cups. I see the three of cups as the infidelity or party with a downside card. Kind of how I see three of cups. So take that for what you want.
Okay. Okay.
Because you kind of see there's a threesome there enjoying and so I always view this as kind of like a triangle type thing. And I know the traditional view of this is there's a party, but somebody's going to get sick. So party with a downside. But
right.
I kind of view always the three of cups as kind of the emotional triangle.
Watch the shift. Been.
Hey, we have a new person here, Hensley Paranormal. So I just want to say thank you for joining us. I'm not sure if Sarah froze again, so I'm just going to keep like chatting here. So she does all the aspects, so I don't know what the next aspect is going to be. So if you have any questions on this, but I view again, whenever it's moon, I view this as a more personal issue because it's a closer planet. The farther out you get, the more bigger and profound those changes are going to be. So I see this as being something more personal, not a big, huge movement. So again, this is emotional, wanting to change agent, having synergy with thoughts, being diplomatic. So I view this as being diplomatic by trying to schmooze and change and be diplomatic with folks. So look for tomorrow how people interact with you because they may be trying to drive their agenda through you. Hello, I apologize if I say this wrong because my eyes aren't all that great. I want to say it's Bontel. So hello, Bontel. Hi, Hensley. Hi, Steph. Hey, everybody. So Mary Beth's going to check in tomorrow. So thanks for hopping on for a little bit, Mary Beth. I'm glad you appreciate my sense of humor. Not everyone does, but for those who do, I appreciate you liking it.
I cannot say what I said, I guess. They're watching me close, Matt. They're watching me close.
You're being censored.
Like, for real. Is it even going to let me bitch about something?
I don't think my friend Macy is on, but I want to say if Macy pops on, there's a certain like voice impression that she loves that I do that I will actually do on this show if Macy pops on. I usually don't do it because it's done just as fun, but I feel like it could offend some people. But there's no offense intended.
Well,
but I
look
will
at
do
you.
it if she only if Macy pops on.
It's like I got my whiskey tonight. He will do it. Okay. Thursday.
Yeah, what's up Thursday?
Thursday. Click it, Sarah, before they take you away. Before they take you away. This is what happens Thursday, and it's the only thing that happens Thursday. So, Moon in Aquarius, and it's conjunct. You know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Saturn in Aquarius. That's at Aquarius again. Sarah, stop using your casting finger. Aquarius. Rules shifting. Fortuitous day. What dost thou see, Matthew?
So I mean, again, this is conjunct is one of the strongest aspects because it's combining the energies. But again, this is Moon, and Moon changes very quickly. So I don't view this as something that has a lot of staying power in it. So it's going to be a very fleeting thing. But this is, again, emotional wanting to change, emotional change agent, combining with Saturn in Aquarius, which is also change. But Saturn is rules. Saturn is the box. So I view Saturn in Aquarius as the opportunity to change the rules. So this is a fleeting moment of ability to change structure and change rules on things. So be in tune to that. People may try to change things that are going on, the structure and the rules, but also keep in mind that the energy may not have staying power. So if it's something that's getting proposed that is very controversial, I would think twice before jumping on board, because this might be something that somebody throws out as a great idea and then abandons it 24 hours later, and you don't want to be like hanging out there advocating
Oh,
something controversial. So
think twice.
I'm all about changing and progress and moving things forward, but I'm also about like being smart in how you go forward on these things. I'm just going to say these proposals don't necessarily have staying power, so I might hang back and let other people kind of take the hit on driving these changes.
Influencers trying to influence things again. I had written down in my monthly meditation bondage, cord work, not magic, and sirens.
All right.
I'm not sure what I was thinking when I was in that
Those are some
meditative
those are
state.
some interesting words.
Right? In the
Not into
Navy. What's
not
gonna
into
happen?
most of that, but I gotta say, like the sirens thing's intriguing.
Well, I think it's the Aquarius, conjunct Aquarius. It's the feelings of the moon with the Saturn and like the sing it louder. It's like you're hearing a ringing in your ears. You're hearing your intuition repeating the same old shit that you've heard before. Some of the advanced occult work, beyond not work, which is very colonial magic, cords and bondage, can get into some kind of, really amazing space. But then sirens, that's going to be like curses and hexes. I really like affirmations versus affirmations, like really taking it to the next level. I think that that's going to be something that comes into play on Thursday. Really big. What rules are you breaking? What rules are you shifting? What is bending and stretching in your space? What do you think is going to be the prediction here? Anything on a Thursday?
Oh well, I think there will be possibly even on the macro scale, but definitely on the micro scale, people are going to propose changes. People are going to try to drive changes. My warning to everyone is all these ideas are going to be they're not going to be staying power with it. So if it's something very controversial, I would hold back. Unlike something that if this was a Pluto aspect, I would say the change is going to come through and it's going to happen and really manifest itself. This is something where I feel like somebody's going to propose and drive, but it's going to get shot down. So if it's something you support, maybe support it behind the scenes, but I wouldn't be the standard bearer for whatever this change is being proposed, because I feel it doesn't have staying power to it.
I know there's been a lot of money requests, a lot of people joining us on our social media asking for just that additional insight into some of the financial spaces, because we are looking at a recession and hard financial times. This particular space, so much yen with the moon right there on the edge of Mercury and Aquarius. This is teetering in a space of, if we're looking at it, it's teetering right here. This is very, very close to the fulcrum. This is, significant stuff. Yes. But like you said, macro, micro, like back to school. It's a big thing, but it's not a huge thing. It's like expected and you know that it's happening, but it's going to change the routine. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. Katie's asking, what about health
Yeah,
wise?
I'm giving a little. Well, I'll go ahead and just answer it as opposed to typing it. Katie, I would say that I would look at this as you may get advice to look at that health situation differently, from a different lens, a different mindset. But keep in mind that I don't think it's necessarily going to be staying power, which means I don't think that's necessarily going to be your answer. So you may get an idea on Thursday of, hey, did you look at X? And X might be worth looking at, but X isn't going to solve your problem.
Right. Good point. Good point. Man, Friday, hold your hats and your pussy straps, people, because it's going to get crazy. I mean, it's going to get crazy on Friday. Friday and Saturday. Matt, you're going to be in Florida. You're going to be on vacay. Man,
I'm gonna be totally tuned out when all this shit's happening, so it'll be
okay.
kind of cool.
Well, tune out. You won't have to do much to tune out. On Friday, two things are happening. The first thing, it's that thing everyone gets all freaky about. Everyone get freaky. That's right. Mercury retrograde. No, not that. Anything but that. It's there. So Mercury retrograde on Friday. One other thing is happening that evening, but what do you have to say about kind of those conversations of the past, finding resolutions, the finishing up any of these things you've been yakking, chatting, and debating about? Because Friday, when Mercury goes retrograde, how is that going to kind of change things, do you think?
So the way I always look at things is when Mercury's in retrograde, communication sucks. So messages that are coming out, no matter how hard you try to get the message out, it's going to get misinterpreted. So be very careful how you send messages out, how you communicate. I would say over communicate. I would say communicate redundantly. And then also verify that the person, much like when I had kids, or I have kids, but I mean, when my kids were younger, I would say, repeat back to me what I just said. It's that kind of thing. You don't want to be condescending, but the chances of misreading communications is much, much higher when Mercury's in retrograde, which causes lots of problems. So I would definitely be very clear on making sure that your communications are received and received in the way that you intended them to be received.
And I would say because there is this Aquarius vibe to it, will this be a spicy Friday for lighting a candle? You could, but that Mercury retrograde, what I love about this, so the advanced magic space would be okay. This is going to be air work. You're almost in a siphon, so you're not able to blow out your message. It's like spitting into the wind. So how do you use that? If you're standing in an open canyon where things are going to become a cacophony and get lost and be unguided, you kind of just begin to hum and, like you say, repeat, use it to become a soundtrack. And kind of the neurolinguistic homework would be that if you want a clarifier, like as a parent, maybe you're a manager, maybe you're a leader, a philanthropist, maybe you're a grant writer, I'm not sure. Think about how you might ask for clarifications on all the different levels of development. Asking a child, did you understand what I say? That's not the right phrase. Did you hear me? Repeat it back. What did I just say? Versus someone older, you don't want to be condescending. So it might be, did I say that? Did that come across well? Or, do you acquiesce with that? Blah, blah, blah. Like it's going to be different for the person that you're talking with. So that repeat and verify, take it to the next level, change the words, change the tone, and then think about if you had to repeat that 2 or 3 times without offending someone and to still get your point across, how do you do it?
And I'll add on the other side is give everyone grace in that keep in mind that you may be misinterpreting communications. So if you feel somebody is saying something and you're getting very upset about that, keep in mind that there's a very good chance that you're misinterpreting their intent. And so give them grace and verify on the backside of this as well to make sure that you are understanding what they're trying to say, so that you're not adding to the problems by misreading the communications, just knowing the communication is difficult during this time. There's responsibility I think there's responsibility on both ends of this. The communicator to make sure they're clearly understood and the receiver to make sure they're actually really understanding it.
Am I clear? Do you understand? Am I making sense? Yeah? Okay. Are you sure? Just want to make sure. A lot of that. Clarification, says Heather. So yes. And the one more thing that's going to happen Friday night, in the pale moonlight, late into the evening, actually, we are going to have another moon shift. And that is going to be that the moon, and it's waxing, it's building, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be tipping over into what we'll see, yes, on Saturday, but not quite. And it's that the moon is going to enter into Pisces on Friday evening. Emotions, emotions, emotions. Matt, what do you have to say about a full moon, but just really a moon entering in Pisces? We'll just start there.
It's always funny. I think I say this every time, but I think it's because the water signs are water signs. I feel like I get beat up by how I portray water signs, but I actually really love water signs. So this is very introspective. So this is emotional energy. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so I view it as kind of like that. If you view the course of life, it's like the end of life, the deathbed perspective of looking at things. So it's a lot of selfless. It's a lot of like, I put my time in. What can I do to the benefit of everyone else? And so I view this as a huge like emotional inventory of just everything, where things stand, what I need to do. Um, so I view this as a very positive thing, but it's very selfless. It's very introspective. It's not necessarily great at getting things done. So if you're like an action oriented person, this might not be helpful, but it is really good for doing like an internal inventory of like where you stand and where things stand. And so it's a really great time to kind of just assess where everything's at and what you need to do, both positive and negative to be plus.
I'm trying to think of how this will pan out in a macro way because it's a Friday. It's, been a short week for many that are celebrating Labor Day here in America in the space of like back to school for many people. I know probably not for you guys, but for more the northern Midwest. Beginning of fall for some, seeing that weather change. We're getting the hurricanes kind of blowing in. I don't know if they're going to be affecting anything. Again, man, you're traveling to
We've had
Florida.
a really mellow hurricane, like, North Carolina kind of sticks out like a jaw and gets hit by a lot of these things. So we're very attuned to hurricanes, and it's been an incredibly quiet season. Even the ones that have formed are like way, way out.
Ah! Okay. Well, how you guys there, wherever you are joining us, whether you're at home or wherever you're at, and by the way, let us know in the chat room. What do you think that this is going to pan out to be? Is this going to be a subtle emotional shift, emotional things moving, but then Saturday's where it's at. If you're a nurse, if you're in social work, if you're a PO or a probation officer, or you're a gas station attendant, those poor people, those poor fucking
It's
people.
gonna be a full moon
It's a full moon on
on
Saturday.
Saturday.
Two things happen, but the first is yes, it's
That
that full
sucks.
moon we've been waiting for in Pisces. Full moon in Pisces, baby. So, how do you feel like is the best way to celebrate this?
So I don't see this necessarily as bad, and that this is the Virgo cycle. So this is like, what do I need to do, like self-analysis to improve and go forward. And I feel like the Pisces is halfway through the cycle, so it's that kind of introspection of, if you view it as like an accountant looking at yourself internally as to like pluses and minuses, what do you need to work on, what do you need to get rid of. So I self-assessment. So I view this as wildly positive. This is a positive energy for self-assessment, looking at things going forward. On a grand scale for like social workers and ERs, much like you've mentioned it a lot of times, this is also kind of the energy of, it gets so introspective, and Pisces, ruled by Neptune, it can be deceptive. So there's a lot of like overdose and bad. So this is, I feel like, even though there's a lot of positive stuff on this, I feel like there's a high drive towards self-harm, overdose, suicide, those types of things. So like, if you know someone if you have a loved one that is inclined in that way, I would say check in on them on Saturday, because there's going to be an extra cosmic nudge towards doing something destructive on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And I would agree, especially as it tips into the night, and we'll tell you why. But that Virgo cycle of self-analysis, I really want to say that's an important thing to mention because of the reflection moment of Pisces and that water. And I had written down in my monthly meditation a movie reference. If you are an Adam Sandler fan and have seen Click, that movie where he has a life remote, oh my gosh, it's kind of a tearjerker. You get to the end and he's like, I won't ruin it, but like crazy things are happening. Reflection could be really bad. That nudge of self-harm is real too, because let's add to this. One other thing happens Saturday night.
Before you say it, this could like this could either magnify or dampen that whole self-harm piece.
The water.
I,
Oh,
I, don't,
here
I
it
don't know
is.
what you're gonna say, but I'm just gonna say ahead of time.
Boom.
That's gonna be bad. That's really bad.
That's why I said, oh, just wait.
That's
Yeah.
really bad.
Firm nudge of chaos. Just really putting salt in the wound on this one. How do you feel knowing that the moon is in Pisces, but it's going to be conjunct Neptune in Pisces?
Anyone that works in an ER or medical standpoint, rest up before Saturday. Saturday will be a shit show. I'm gonna say it right off the bat. You can go ahead and comment later. And I have a lot of friends that work in the medical field. If this plays out, I know full moons tend to be bad. Full moons and Saturday tend to be bad. This is really bad because you have this emotional self inventory, deep kind of look at being combined with Neptune, which is deceptive. It's reading things the wrong way. And its home sign of Pisces, which is this introspect. So this is just like a total like deep energy of deep dive, getting totally lost in yourself. So I see this as a huge tendency to anyone that, and I mean, I suffer from this. I'm sure other people out here suffer from this, of having negative self-talk, negative self-thoughts. This is the kind of dynamic where you kind of go into yourself and kind of ruminate on destructive thoughts, destructive things. So I'm not saying it's going to happen to everybody, but I'm just going to say that the energy on Saturday is very conducive to self-destructive thinking, which can then lead to self-destructive behavior. So if you know people that are vulnerable in that, take extra care of them on Saturday, because there's going to be this cosmic nudge to doing something harmful.
Right.
I would not be surprised if there is a uptick in overdoses, suicides, just bad things on Saturday, and I would not be surprised on a grand scale if there is a high-profile death on Saturday.
I would agree. And I would agree. I think that the idea of wearing a rubber band and slapping it on your wrist to just remind yourself of kind of that pain and pleasure tolerance. It is. It's keep chocolate in your pocket. It's an extra stone on you. It's your favorite piece of jewelry, though you're likely to lose it. So be careful. Like don't the attachment and dissociation theme here because of the water on water on water makes me think of the movie like The Cell, where or some of the really cool NFT art that I've seen where you just like start spinning into the image and it's very trippy. This is going to be that space where intrusive thoughts, you're not sure if they are real, how to differentiate real, how to bring yourself back. And so if you're really compassionate and very empathetic and you feel the pain of others easily, people are going to be really lost in it and they're going to be treading water and take you down and drown you with them.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Very
I feel like
difficult.
this is the type where you see like those like videos and stuff that are like sentimental, and this is the one that's gonna like just like move you to tears. But I'm also gonna add, I think most people out there have a self critic. I know I have a self critic that is like horrible, says like horrible stuff to me,
That's my
and the
mom.
view I view this is that internal critic with this energy is gonna get a megaphone. So be aware of that ahead of time. Not pay so much attention to that, but realize that if you have like an internal critical voice that tries to tear you down, it's going to have a very loud voice on Saturday.
That's why I love if you are joining us, if you're listening, and you are even maybe having someone pop into your mind right now that you're thinking, oh shit. Consider sending this to them to listen because on Saturday, there'll probably be a moment of breakdown. I'll have it. Everyone will have it. And instead of going, what is wrong with you? Look at you. Look at how everything's falling apart. That instead it'll go, oh, wait, that's right. This is happening for everyone. And I'm aware of it. And it's not me. And I'm one with the universe. And I'm riding the flow. And I can get through this. And so
Saturday is a
immediately it's not
great
you.
Saturday is a great day to share kind words to others. If you have this idea of like, I'd really like to share what I appreciate about person X, but I feel reserved to do that, it might look good. Go ahead and share that, because that could really make the difference between what's kind of going on in their head and give them some positive validation to keep them from doing something bad.
Yep. Yep. Very good point. Very, very good point. Don't bring me down. That. Now, How does it pan out for Sunday? Because this is always kind of tells us what does happen on Saturday. What are your predictions? What are you seeing in your mind? What crazy thoughts are popping in already? Write them down, get them out, be aware of them, let them be validated, and then, oh, I knocked something down. But then think to yourself, okay, what happens on Sunday? What does the universe and the stars tell us happens on Sunday? Well, two things happen. What? Okay. The first thing is, oh, interesting. With all of the moon movements, this is kind of a good balance. The sun in Virgo trine Uranus in Taurus. So some fire, some earth. How does that work with all this water going down?
All right. So Sun is kind of your outward energy. Virgo is very analytical, very picky. I would say kind of I's dotted, T's crossed. Trine is synergy. Uranus is the wild card, kind of shaking things up, doing something different. But Taurus is stable and indulgent. So I just view this as I'm going to rebel by not doing something. So I view this as kind of assess things, and you assess all the details and what needs to be done and what not needs to be done. And you decide that you're going to kind of rebel against the system by not doing what you're supposed to do. So if you're looking for, again, kind of on this, and I kind of feel this has synergy with Saturday, if you're already feeling kind of bad, if you're expecting somebody else to do something, expect to be disappointed, because I feel like people are not going to do things that they're expected to do because of these energies.
Do not expect it. That's a really good piece of advice because of that Uranus. That's the curveball. That's Winona Ryder. What's Winona Ryder going to do? Be careful. You never know, really, for sure. She might steal stuff. I don't know. She might perform great.
And I don't know why this is on my heart, so I'll go ahead and share it to everybody. But if anybody else has this, I just realized everybody has that like internal self-critic that I talked about before. Like I have one. So you guys know I have one inside of me that tells me I'm like a piece of shit like 24/7. So like it's just it's there. A lot of people have it, and so just give kindness to others because it helps kind of offset that.
Joy and kindness, I think, are really important. The sun and Virgo, that's the shining. That criticism, especially as of lately, because like you said, the Virgo cycle, that is, how do I make myself better? You need to be better. You know what? You could do this. We could do this. We could do this better. We should be doing this. But going back to school, cutting down on computer time, making our diet better, routines. Okay. And just really nose to the grindstone time. That imposter syndrome reminds us, Pepper. Yes. Careful, because this is that hypocrisy theme. It's going to be really easy to judge others, and then when you're judging yourself, it's going to be so harsh you could cut deep.
What I worry about with this one is you have all that introspective crap on Saturday. And then I feel like Sunday, this is an energy that leads towards disappointment. That you're going to look for somebody to do something and they won't do what you expect, and then you're disappointed. And so I'm afraid, and that's why I want to call this out. I'm afraid that these two can like reinforce each other. So if you're already feeling bad and feeling like crap, and then you expect somebody to like be there for you when they're not, that can like magnify that. Oh crap, everything's really, really bad. And so like don't go down that path. But again, keep that in mind. I'll just reinforce, try to be there for the others in your life, because I think these energies are kind of stacked towards not being there for them and not being supportive, and that could have bad results.
Yeah. A great feeling of a lack of support. Yeah. That's really great. This is really great. And I'm hopeful that for those of you guys who do join us weekly and write this down and you help us share it on social media, I know it can be very helpful for some people who do need support in crazy times. Knowing that this full moon is going to be effective in this way kind of helps me feel prepared and how to prepare myself, but then also my loved ones as I'm parenting, as I'm counseling others, as I'm mentoring others, as I'm working with people, as I'm going to the grocery store. But one more thing is going to happen on Sunday night. And as I look at this is another moon move, but look where it's moving. We've been doing some of this inaction and feeling and reflection. Now what? Ooh, Sunday night, the moon moves into Aries. Fire. Fire. It's time to take action. No,
This is still Sunday. This is still the same day.
Sunday night.
Yeah, I hate this because you're moving from that introspective and all this like inner focus to Aries is very much impulsive and not thinking things out. It's juvenile. It's very quick. It gets crap done, but it gets crap done that is not well thought out. So I worry about with what we just talked again, not that it's bad on its own, but you're coming out of this negative introspection piece to people letting you down piece to all of a sudden emotionally acting impulsively without thinking things through. And I feel like this is like a really bad setup of combos. Because again, it's the whenever you hear about people that like maybe do like suicide attempts and things, I'm like, well, I just wasn't even thinking about it. I just like went and did it. Kind of that's kind of how I view this.
Burn
like,
it.
all this like negative ruminating, and then it's just like, F it, I'm just gonna do X. And so I'm seeing a lot of stuff here that's just reinforcing, really reach out and take care of like your loved ones and particularly people that you view as vulnerable, because this is like bad energies this weekend.
And this is that, I'm just stomping out my campfire, and it's like, well, hell, we're just rushing out of here. We got to leave. Well, let's go. All right. And you don't. And now all of a sudden everything is catching fire, and you just started the half of the country on a, wildfire of the century. Yeah. I get a sense of that scene from the Interview with the Vampire when they're on the boat looking at the great fires of London and stuff and thinking, oh, snap, we did that. These, it started with that. The juvenile quick behaviors that, you know what, I've had enough. Fine then. Forget it. Okay, I'm out. Peace out. See you later. Open the car door. Moving car. You know what? Just right now, stop the car. It's one of those moments.
Yeah, this is a really bad, and I know you're more in tune to this than I am, but I'm getting really bad vibes that this is like a really bad weekend for people doing like self-harm type shit.
It's a stop the car. Stop the car. So yeah, people just opening the freaking car and just rolling right out on it. And I'm getting Steve Martin from the Parenthood movie, like that scene of the some of the players in that movie and how they engage in self-harm. A lot of some of the themes that we're going to see panning out for this Sunday. But let's see how it ends quickly. I can't believe the time. So Monday, luckily only one thing happens on Monday and only one thing happens on Tuesday, but holy hell, in a handbasket, what is happening on Monday? We
We'll
look
go
back
quick.
at a crazy weekend and you go, holy cow, the moon's in Aries, and that's going to be sextile in Saturn and Aquarius. So it's ringing into some kind of a rule or restriction. What does it mean?
All right, so I'll do quick on it, but I feel like this is a bad one to do very quickly because this could be very profound. This is, again, that emotional impulse. Moon's always quick, but sextile is synergy. So it's synergy with or removing obstacles to being able to change rules. So I feel like there could be impulsive changes on Monday, but I always feel like these impulsive changes are not well thought through and kind of bad. So keep an eye on what gets proposed to get changed or what people try to change on Monday, and try to be the voice of reason to get everybody to like take a step back and maybe not, wait a couple days before you go ahead and make this change. I view this as like rush changes that in the long run aren't going to be good.
Haste. The turtle and the hare. Really look at what's going on here, guys. If you're thinking of doing something, making a big life change, going back to school, paying off your debt, buying a car, whatever it is, making a move across the country, think. And instead of doing on a Sunday night, you know what, fuck this, I'm just going to go out then, whatever, stop. Stop because Matt and Sarah told you to stop. If anything else, stop because we said don't. Don't, and just think. Think for how long? Until when? Just give it a few days. Tuesday, the moon moves again, and it's really the only thing happening. A lot of moon movements, though. That's a lot of feelings. Keep those Kleenexes out. But on Tuesday, a week from today, that will be September 13th, everybody, the moon will enter into Taurus, and hopefully that self-care, self-love will feel a little better. What do you think?
Well, I'll add that for anybody, when the moon is in your home sign, that is like your power days of the month. So I'm a moon in Taurus, so I always like to see when moon is in Taurus because those are going to be at least potentially my good days of the month. But I'm really happy to see this because the moon in Taurus is emotionally stable and indulgent. So it's the exact opposite of doing something impulsive and rash. So if you can just delay, if you have those impulses to do something, if you can just delay one day, you're now going to move into an emotional standpoint where you're not going to want to change a whole lot, and you're going to view it a hell of a lot differently. So if anything's going on from the weekend, try to get the folks to delay everything until Tuesday, because there'll be a much more stable push on Tuesday as opposed to over the weekend. The weekend's kind of dangerous. Tuesday is when things start coming down.
Really crazy. And you guys, I want to say, and I know I always do say, be sure and join us next week. But man, as I look ahead, it's even more, I feel, so important that you will join us next week so that we get your input, your predictions, some of the crazy stuff that's going to be going down for this month. We have a whole lot to look forward to. Change personally, politically, profoundly. On the landscape, the change agent of landscape is afoot. Something strange is at the Circle K. What do you think it's going to be as we're here in these last kind of 10 minutes? Matt, what do you think for
I was starting to
a
type
week?
in here that I think there's going to be a big like celebrity suicide or something profoundly like crazy that happens over the weekend. Whether that is a celebrity suicide or somebody doing some like profound suicidal action. Like last weekend there was a guy with a plane. Somebody did commit suicide by flying a plane into a building, or doing something, suicide by cop. There's going to be something that's going to be very high profile. That's going to be bad, but there's going to be just this general energy. I think there's going to be an uptick of just all kind of bad stuff over this weekend. Just even on the micro level, overdoses, suicide, self harm. This is a bad energetic weekend for like people doing bad things to themselves.
That's true. That's true. And those vibes are a big part of the astrological theme. So when you're looking at the constellations, you're kind of looking at the chemical structure even. Yes, guys, some of the quantum science this week on just the fifth states of matter and the chrysalis states and fermion particles with or without mass and different weird little statements being made or not made. Um, it's relevant sometimes when I'm thinking of astrology in this way because I think, this is how the sociological patterns really do shift. They really do. When I see all of the planets and these, hums of great pieces and masses around us moving, it's like a pool table. I mean, it reverberates to us here on our planet, and I can see how it's going to kind of move. Heather, it's kind of interesting. We're seeing some themes in the chat
Yeah.
room, I have to mention.
I was going to add really quick. I view this as like, picture yourself like out in a river or out in the ocean with the currents. These are the nudges. So my advice to everybody is be intentional. If you don't have any intention, then these energetic nudges that we talk about are going to move you like the currents in a different direction. But if you're intentional and actually like swimming towards a destination, you can actually like overcome those currents. But if you're not aware and just kind of out there, just letting things go the way they are, these different nudges are going to really move you into different things. So my advice to everybody all the time is be very clear about like your boundaries and your intentions, and be very intentional. Don't let these nudges drive your life. Make sure you're driving your life.
Right. Know what your goals are. Write them down, speak them to the people around you. When you're feeling a heavy heart and you want to complain and you're reaching out, try and speak words of kindness and joy. And I think a lot of just checking in on people, which will therein kind of connect you with them, is going to be important. I see that showing itself. I want to say, man, I'm almost thinking like, is it going to be like the way Robin Williams affected everybody? I'm kind of getting a vibe like it's going to be when I think a deep emotional person, I almost wonder it's either going to be like a conspiracy theory ripple, like a Kevin Hart, or like comedian where like
Yeah,
I'm trying to,
I feel like a profound like for me this. I know there's been other suicides, but like the Chris Cornell one bothered me because I was a really big fan of his. Robin Williams, like I feel like over the weekend there's going to be a very
who would it be?
impactful, hurtful suicide.
Oh my gosh, I can't even speak it because there are people that, I've yet to meet that are like on my list, and I'm always like, if something happens to them before I meet them, I'm going to be very sad.
Anthony Bourdain, that's another one. I feel it's like in that ballpark of.
Don't say that.
But I also feel it's like somebody you wouldn't like, much like the wrong. It's somebody like you wouldn't expect. Somebody that like hides it, and so I hope I'm wrong. But I really, again, these are the kind of predictions that when we do these predictions, I'm like happier when I'm like wrong on a prediction than like right.
I know, but you're always
But
right,
I
which
feel
is why I take them so
I
seriously.
feel there's going to be like an impactful and very sad like suicide over the weekend from a celebrity.
Okay. Please, God Almighty, protect Dan Aykroyd. That is like my person, and I swear, if you take him, Lord, from me, I will be angry.
I'm trying to think who's like the modern Chris Farley, because I feel like that's who it's going to be.
I do. I get a comedic kind of
Whoever's and I'm old now, so I'm not as in touch. So I don't know who kind of
joyous.
like picked up that torch, but whoever's like the new Chris Farley, I think that's who it's going to be.
I think he's the kind of the funnier black guy from Whataburger that's on SNL now.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like he carries that torch a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, don't say Jim Carrey, Heather. Look at us all conspiring, trying to figure it out. But we won't. Don't say the name. Which, by the way, when it comes to saying the name, I don't speak it for manifestation. I believe in Psalms. I know your name, and now you are mine, and I can protect you when I know the focus. So, but sometimes
A name came to me, and it really surprises me. But I'm
okay.
going to go ahead and type it.
Yeah, and that's why we don't
I hope I'm
manifest it.
wrong, but while everybody's talking, I just put in who I think came to me.
Oh, that's weird because I was thinking of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and just some of the, yeah. Okay. So protect all the people, says
He's the
Heather.
only one of the he's the only one of the big four singers left. So
Right. There goes. Um, we will know in a week's time. Isn't that kind of strangely exciting? We will have an indication of what it is that we are all kind of maybe feeling here, or whatever it is that's in your mind. Yes, you listening right now, don't be afraid of your intuition. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Matt and I, we do this in our times together, and we did our prediction show back in January, and you can go back. It's kind of cool and creepy, the validations that we're getting and some of the crazy predictions for this
yeah,
month.
I'm gonna add because this is just flowing to me, and I'm gonna feel like I'm shotgunning this, but like Eddie Vedder, Dave Grohl, Trent Reznor, I'm feeling like it's like a '90s music icon that people
Do
love.
not take Gavin Rossdale from
That's
me.
gonna
Do
go.
not take Gavin Rossdale from me. Who else would it be that I would be really sad about? Um, oh my gosh, it just came to me. I know who kind of fits that, and it better not be. Like, I would want to protect Jack Black.
I could see that too. Oh
A
my god,
bigger,
yeah, I could. That's kind of like the Chris Farley thing. I could see that.
a bigger, rounder comedian that's just very
Yeah,
endearing and
I
friendly.
feel like it's somebody that personality wise, much like the Farley, like it's or Robin Williams. It's like in hindsight, you'll be like, oh my god, I could see it, but at the time, you would be like totally shocked. Like, no, they don't seem like troubled. Or it's
Right.
gonna be one of those,
Okay. Well, we're going to know in a week. You guys send us your thoughts, send us your special visions and dreams. The Neptune in Pisces would suggest, if you're a holistic practitioner and witch of the green leaf, that doing valerian root, doing lotus flower, doing passion flower, doing some teas of that kind of astral projection, that stuff is going to be pretty deep. The delusion, the matrix, the reality, the conspiracy theories, it's going to be heavy this week, as well as emotions. So if you want a reading, Matt and I are doing reading specials. Please reach out. We would love to help you. Matt, I'm going to put all the links in there, but where can they find us?
All right, I'm just gonna add quick. Steph said a female. I'm gonna say if it's a female, as much as I would hate this, I would
Don't
say
it
Gwen
be?
Stefani would be my female
I
guest.
said
Although that would really crush me if that
when I
happened
said
because I
Gavin
really like her.
Rossdale.
But anyway,
Take
yeah,
Gwen.
Paranormal Channel, paranormalsarah.com, mslozer at Yahoo, Astrology and Alchemy on Facebook, Sunday Night Dead on Facebook, Astrology and Alchemy on Facebook. I don't know if I repeated that, but yeah, just reach
And
out
then
to
join
us.
us here
We'll have
next
to do it.
Tuesday. Yeah, and we'll be here. And guys, for real, get a reading. You definitely want to have some insight, and we do hope to touch base with you personally. So DM us, and at the very least, share this with a friend, and then see us here next week for Astrology and Alchemy with Sarah and Matt every Tuesday, 9 p.m.
All right, pulling up the video here. And, good night, everybody.